They tried to destroy you. They plotted, schemed, and did everything they could to break you. They spoke lies behind your back, tried to ruin your name, and wished for your downfall. Yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still moving forward. Why? Because what they did not realize is that they were not just fighting you. They were fighting the purpose God placed within you. They couldn't take your life because your destiny is protected by a power greater than their hate. Their schemes were designed to bring you down, but they only exposed who they really are. They may have smiled in your face, pretended to support you, and acted as though they were on your side, but behind closed doors, they were planning your defeat. They thought they were clever, that their masks were perfect, and that no one could see through their deception. But God saw it all. Nothing they did was hidden from His sight. This is why they're facing judgment now. They couldn't take your life, but God can take theirs instantly. They dug a pit for you, but they are the ones who are about to fall into it. Their time is running out. The same trap they set for you is about to catch them. What they did in the dark is about to be exposed in the light. Everything they tried to steal from you, your peace, your joy, your reputation, is about to be restored. And when that restoration comes, it will be far greater than anything they could ever imagine. Their season of pretending is over. They fooled many people with their lies, but they couldn't fool God. The very weapons they used against you are turning against them. They are standing on shaky ground, and they don't even realize it. The countdown has begun. Every wrong they did is adding up, and judgment is at the door. They tried to curse you, but they only cursed themselves. This isn't about revenge, it's about justice, divine justice. They are going to jail, not just in the physical sense, but in a spiritual prison they cannot escape. They are trapped by their own actions, their own deceit and their own darkness, and no amount of manipulation or charm can set them free. They wrote their own sentence the moment they tried to destroy what God was building in you. If you've ever wondered why they seemed to get away with it for so long, understand this. God was giving them time to repent, to change their ways, to do the right thing. But they chose not to. They chose to continue in their evil ways, thinking there would be no consequences. But God is a God of justice, and He cannot be mocked. What they sowed, they will now reap. The universe is aligning for your vindication. Everything that seemed unfair, every tear you cried, every sleepless night you endured, they did not go unnoticed. Divine justice is about to be served. The very people who celebrated your pain will watch your victory. They will have to witness the blessings that were always meant for you. Their attempts to block you only paved the way for a greater breakthrough. Their false confidence is about to shatter. They boasted, thinking they had won. They laughed at your struggles and felt powerful in your moments of weakness. But they were deceived by their own arrogance. They didn't realize that God was fighting for you behind the scenes. They didn't see the angels protecting you, the divine hands guiding you, the favor surrounding you. They took your kindness for weakness, your silence for defeat, and your humility for fear. But they didn't understand that your silence was your strength. You didn't fight back because you knew God was your defender. You didn't retaliate because you trusted that vengeance belongs to the Lord. And now, the tables are turning. The last shall be first and the first shall be last. The story isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. You are stepping into a new season of blessings, favor, and abundance. Everything that was stolen from you is coming back multiplied. Every lie spoken against you is being reversed. The truth is coming out, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They had their time to laugh, but now it's your time to rejoice. If they had succeeded, your life would have been destroyed. Everything you worked for would have crumbled, and you would have been left in ruins. They wanted to see you broken, lost, and hopeless. They wanted to steal your dreams, your peace, and your purpose. But they failed because they were fighting against something they couldn't understand: divine protection. Their actions were not just against you. They were against God's plan for your life. And that's where they went wrong. They underestimated the power that was working within you. They saw your struggles but didn't see the strength behind them. They saw your setbacks but didn't See the comeback God was preparing. They thought they were powerful, but their power was nothing compared to the one who was fighting for you. If they had succeeded, your story would have ended in defeat. Your purpose would have been cut short and everything you were meant to do would have been lost. But God said, "Not yet." He intervened and turned their plans upside down. What they meant for evil, God is turning into good. Their attacks are being transformed into your testimony. Their lies are becoming the platform for your truth. They wanted to ruin your name, but their own names are being exposed. They tried to bury your destiny, but they didn't realize that seeds grow when they're buried. What they covered in darkness is sprouting in the light. Their attempts to silence you only amplified your voice. Their plots against you only positioned you for greatness. If this principle was not true, the wicked would continue to prosper and justice would never be served. But there is a divine law at work that no one can escape. What they did in secret is now coming to the surface. They will have to face the consequences of their actions, and there will be no place to hide. Their power was an illusion. They looked strong because they were standing on lies. But now, the truth is shaking their foundations. They thought they were untouchable, but they forgot that God sees everything. Their false security is crumbling, and they are losing control. They are reaping what they sowed, and the harvest is bitter. This is the consequence of injustice. They tried to destroy you, but they destroyed themselves. They tried to take your life, but they lost their own peace. They tried to ruin your future, but they cursed their own destiny. Their attempts to break you only built you stronger. Their hate only increased your favor. Their rejection only redirected you to a better place. The consequences are unfolding, and they can't escape it. They are trapped in the very web they wove for you. Their own words are testifying against them. Their own actions are revealing their true character. They are standing in the courtroom of divine justice, and the verdict is coming. They wrote the sentence with their own deeds, and now they must face it. No matter how powerful their plans were, they could not overcome the shield of divine protection over your life. They did everything they could to destroy you, but their weapons were powerless against the covering of God. Their schemes were calculated and strategic, but they were no match for the divine wisdom that guarded you. You were protected even when you didn't see it, even when you didn't feel it. Their traps failed because God went ahead of you and blocked every attack. He surrounded you with His favor, confused your enemies, and turned their plans into nothing. You walked through the fire and didn't get burned. You walked through the storm and didn't drown. They thought they could break you, but they only proved how powerful your protection really is. There is an unbreakable law in the spiritual realm. What you sow, you shall reap. They sowed lies, betrayal, and deceit, thinking they could escape the consequences. They believed that no one would ever find out, that they could manipulate the situation and walk away untouched. But they forgot one crucial truth. God sees everything. Every word they spoke, every scheme they crafted, every plan they executed was recorded. They may have fooled people, but they couldn't fool God. Spiritual justice operates on a different timeline. It may seem slow, but it is always precise. It moves in silence, but its impact is loud and undeniable. They thought they got away with it because nothing happened right away. They celebrated their so-called victory, boasting about their cleverness. But what they didn't realize is that the clock was ticking. Every deceitful action added to the weight of their judgment. Every lie they spoke became a chain that is now binding them. The law of spiritual justice is clear. What they did to harm you is now coming back to them multiplied. They sowed destruction, and now their lives are falling apart piece by piece. They planted seeds of division, and now they are surrounded by chaos and conflict. They set traps for you, but now they are caught in their own snares. What they meant to destroy you is now destroying them. They thought they were powerful, but true power belongs to God. They used manipulation and deception as their weapons, but those weapons are turning against them. The very things they used to attack you are now attacking them. They are losing control, panicking as everything they built on lies crumbles before their eyes. Their arrogance blinded them to the truth that justice never forgets. They are reaping the bitter harvest of their own actions. They have no one to blame but themselves. They are facing the consequences, not because of who you are, but because of what they did. They tried to write the end of your story, but they wrote their own downfall. Spiritual justice is perfect. It gives back exactly what was given, nothing more, nothing less. There is no escape from divine justice. They may try to run, hide, or deny what they did, but the truth is already out. Their reputation is crumbling, their lies are exposed, and their alliances are breaking. Those who once stood by them are turning away, realizing the truth behind the facade. Their charm and manipulation can no longer cover their guilt. They are standing alone, facing the consequences of their choices. They tried to play God in your life, thinking they had the power to control your destiny. But they forgot that only God holds that authority. They tried to curse you, but the curse returned to them. They tried to close doors for you, but now every door is closing on them. They tried to block your blessings, but they blocked their own. This is the law of spiritual justice. What they meant for your harm is now their own destruction. They did everything they could to destroy you. They spread rumors, attacked your character, and tried to ruin your reputation. They gathered people against you, turned friends into enemies, and celebrated your pain. But no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't take your life. They couldn't end your purpose because your destiny is protected by God. You are still here because your story is not finished. They couldn't take your life because they don't hold that power. Only God does. They wanted to see you broken and defeated, but they were fighting a losing battle. They didn't understand that you are covered by grace, protected by favor, and surrounded by angels. They saw your struggles and assumed you were weak. They saw your tears and thought you were defeated. But they didn't see the strength behind your pain. They didn't see the power of the prayers that were covering you. They thought your silence was weakness, but it was wisdom. You didn't fight back because you knew God was your defender. You didn't retaliate because you understood that the battle wasn't yours. It was the Lord's. You stood still while they were plotting, and that confused them. They couldn't understand why their attacks didn't break you. They threw stones, but you kept standing. They dug pits, but you kept moving forward. They cursed you, but you kept being blessed. They tried to close every door in your life, but doors kept opening for you. They tried to destroy your name, but your influence grew even stronger. They tried to block your opportunities, but new ones kept showing up. They didn't understand that what God has blessed, no one can curse. They didn't realize that you are protected by a divine force that cannot be defeated. They couldn't take your life because you have a purpose that is greater than their hate. You are here for a reason, and no one can change that. They tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. Everything they did to destroy you only made you stronger, wiser, and more powerful. They didn't realize that their attacks were pushing you closer to your destiny. They couldn't take your life because you are covered by a promise. God spoke over your life before you were even born, and nothing they did could change that. They tried to stop you, but they only accelerated your blessings. They tried to delay you, but they only prepared you for something greater. They wanted you to fail, but they became the stepping stones to your success. They were fighting against a power they couldn't see. They were battling an anointing they didn't understand. They were trying to stop a purpose they could never control. They were playing a game they were destined to lose. They thought they were fighting you, but they were fighting against the God who chose you. That's why they lost. Their weapons were powerless against your destiny. They tried to use manipulation, deception, and betrayal, but none of it could stop God's plan for your life. They tried to poison your path, but your steps were ordered by the Lord. They tried to weaken your faith, but you grew even stronger. They tried to isolate you, but you found strength in solitude. They couldn't take your life because God is not done with you yet. You are here because your story is still being written. Everything they did to harm you is turning into a testimony. Every tear you cried is watering the seeds of your breakthrough. Every pain you endured is preparing you for your purpose. They didn't break you, they built you. Your life is proof that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. You are still standing, not by your own strength but by divine power. You are still moving forward, not because of your own wisdom, but because of divine guidance. You are still winning, not because of your own might, but because God is fighting for you. They couldn't take your life because your destiny is protected. You are unbreakable, unshakable, and unstoppable. They couldn't take your life because your purpose is bigger than their hate. They couldn't stop you because your destiny is secured by God's promise. They couldn't destroy you because you are covered by grace. And now they are watching you rise. They are witnessing the blessings they tried to block. They are seeing the favor they tried to curse. They couldn't take your life, but they made you stronger. They are realizing now that they fought a battle they could never win. They challenged a power they could never defeat. They tried to stop a purpose they could never control. They couldn't take your life because God was always on your side. And now they are facing the consequences of every attack, every lie, and every scheme. They couldn't take your life, but they lost their own peace. This is why you are still here. This is why you survived. Because God is not done with you yet. Your story is still unfolding, and the best is yet to come. It may have looked like they were getting away with it. They hurt you, lied about you, and betrayed you, and nothing seemed to happen to them. They continued to live their lives as if they had done nothing wrong. They smiled in public, celebrated their fake victories, and walked around with confidence. You watched them prosper while you suffered. It seemed unfair. It felt like justice was blind. But divine justice has its own timing, and it is always perfect. God is not in a hurry. He sees everything, but He moves in His own time. He gave them chances to change, to repent, to make things right. But they chose to continue in their wicked ways, thinking they were untouchable. They mistook God's patience for weakness. They thought silence meant approval. They didn't realize that the delay was God's mercy giving them a chance to avoid judgment. But they ignored it. They continued, in their deception, digging their own grave. The delay was never about them escaping justice. It was about God perfecting His plan for you. While they were laughing at your pain, God was preparing your comeback. While they were celebrating your setbacks, God was setting up your victory. The delay was not denial. It was divine timing. It was God aligning everything to bless you in a way that would leave no doubt that it was His doing. It was God positioning you for a breakthrough they could never stop. They mocked your faith, thinking it was in vain. They saw you praying, hoping and waiting, and they laughed, convinced that nothing would change. They didn't realize that God was watching. Every tear you cried, every prayer you whispered, every moment you held on to hope was noted. God was preparing a table before you in the presence of your enemies. He was getting ready to bless you in ways they never imagined. They couldn't see that the delay was part of the plan. It was God setting the stage for a comeback they couldn't stop. They thought they had won, but they didn't realize the game was still being played. God let them believe their own lies because He was preparing to expose them at the perfect moment. They were laughing at your pain, but they didn't know that their laughter was about to turn into weeping. The delay was a setup. It was God's strategy to give you double for your trouble. What they thought was your end was actually your beginning. What they thought was your defeat was actually your preparation for victory. They thought the story was over, but God was just turning the page. The delay was divine timing in disguise. They hurt you deeply. They betrayed your trust, broke your heart, and left you wounded. They took advantage of your kindness, repaid your love with hate, and celebrated your pain. They left scars that still ache when you think about them. You have every reason to be angry, to seek revenge, to wish them the same pain they caused you. But holding on to that pain only keeps you chained to them. The only way to be truly free is to forgive. Forgiveness is not about letting them off the hook. It's about setting yourself free. It doesn't mean you forget what they did or pretend it didn't hurt. It means you refuse to carry the burden of bitterness. It means you let go of the anger so it no longer controls you. It means you free your heart from the poison of resentment. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's strength. It's saying, you no longer have power over me. They don't deserve your forgiveness, but you deserve peace. Forgive them, not because they asked for it or because they are sorry, but because you deserve to move on. You deserve to live without the weight of what they did. You deserve to be free from the pain they caused. You deserve to be happy, joyful, and at peace. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. They hurt you, but they can't hold you back unless you allow them to. Don't give them that power. Release them from your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Forgive them, and let God deal with the justice. Let God handle their judgment. Your job is to heal, to grow, and to live. Let go and let God. Forgiveness is the final victory. It means they no longer have any control over your emotions. It means they can no longer steal your joy. It means they can no longer make you bitter. When you forgive, you win. When you release the pain, you rise above it. When you let go of the past, you step into your future. You may have noticed things starting to fall apart for them. They thought they were unstoppable, but now they are losing everything they tried to take from you. Their lies are catching up. With them, their fake friends are abandoning them, and their reputation is crumbling. This is not coincidence, it's divine intervention. God is exposing them piece by piece, layer by layer. They thought they were untouchable, but the truth is now surrounding them. Everywhere they turn, they face the consequences of their actions. Their own words are coming back to haunt them. Their own schemes are falling apart. The people they used to manipulate are now seeing their true colors. This is the hand of God revealing what was hidden. Divine intervention is when God steps in and turns the situation around. It's when He brings justice in ways that no human could orchestrate. It's when He exposes lies, reveals truth, and restores what was lost. It's when He lifts you up and brings down those who tried to destroy you. It's when He takes what they meant for evil and uses it for your good. You are witnessing divine justice in real time. Everything they did to harm you is now turning against them. Everything they tried to take from you is being restored. Everything they lied about is being revealed. They are reaping what they sowed, and there's no escape. This is God's justice, and it is perfect. They couldn't take your life because your purpose is protected by God. They tried to break you, but they only built you stronger. They tried to destroy your destiny, but they only prepared you for greater blessings. They plotted against you, but their plans failed because God was fighting for you. Their season of pretending is over. Their lies are exposed. Their false power is broken. They are facing the consequences of their actions, and they can't escape divine justice. You are victorious because you stood firm in your faith. You didn't fight back with hate, and you didn't seek revenge. You trusted God's timing, and now you are seeing the fruits of your patience. You are walking into a season of restoration and abundance. Everything they tried to steal from you is being returned multiplied. Every tear you cried is becoming a testimony of triumph. Forgive them, release the pain, and keep moving forward. You are free from their control, free from their lies, and free from their deception. They couldn't take your life because God's purpose for you is greater than their hate. Now they are watching you rise while they fall. They are witnessing your victory while they face judgment. Your story is a testimony of divine protection, justice, and restoration. You survived the storm because God was with you. You overcame the pain because you chose forgiveness. You are victorious because you trusted God's plan. They couldn't take your life, but they lost their own peace. They couldn't stop you, but they destroyed themselves. Keep moving forward with faith. Keep believing in divine justice. Keep trusting God's timing. Your victory is just the beginning. The best is yet to come.